Now here's Parker, averaging 20 points per game. And going back to Tim Duncan in San Antonio, Clark, even if he isn't putting up great numbers, he really does seem to drive the team just through his power and his will.
Well, there's something about presence, and that's really what a superstar player like Duncan can do for you, Kevin. Even if he plays into his 40s, I just can't imagine the Spurs not being competitive with him on their roster.
I agree.
Well, with only one attempt so far falling, this is not looking good. 1 for 4 so far.
Let's find out now what head coach Vinny Del Negro had to say to Doris Burke. Doris?
Kevin, he said that the one thing they rely on to keep them in games is they never get thrown off their defensive game plan. He said when we're on defense, we act like the aggressors and take the game at you. We don't sit back and wait, and it helps us to stay focused. Let's see if they can keep that focus here.
All right, great stuff, Doris. Thanks. And guys, not too much of a surprise that defense is going to be the emphasis.
Yeah, that's the type of team they are. I mean, they always seem to feed off of that defense. They're just really trying to attack and force some turnovers and get out and run.
Exactly, Steve. I mean, that's really what drives them on a game-to-game basis.
Here's Crawford following the score by Tony Parker. And it's Paul penetrating over Parker. Rebound by Tony Parker.
Vinny Del Negro now in his 5th season as an NBA coach. He spent 2 years coaching in Chicago, now in his 3rd year with the LA Clippers. Well, they'll give him that shot. He doesn't have the most reliable jump shot in the world. We know that.
That's a 2 from Paul. Offensive rebound. Jordan. They shoot again. Jumps up. And at last, they get one to fall.
And we see him get so many points that way because the effort is there constantly on the offensive glass.
Well, and going back to Coach Vinny Del Negro, 14-year playing career, 12 in the NBA, played a couple years in Italy. His best NBA year, Steve, with the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, Vinny was an excellent shooter, particularly in the mid-range. Loved to come off low screens along the baseline, curl into the lane. He'd shoot over the top of the defense. Had a good feel for the game, could run the floor a little bit. So a nice, solid player in the NBA and has turned into a good coach as well.
Here's what San Antonio's going with right now. Splitters checked in for Matt Bonner. Diaw comes in for Tim Duncan. Mono Ginobili, he's checked in for Daniel Green. And Gary Neal subbed in for Tony Parker.
Good team effort here, and that's what's gotten them this double-digit lead.
You know, I tell you what, Steve, the way they've come out here in the first quarter, they might blow them out of the water.
And Neal kicks to Ginobili. No good on the 3. The Los Angeles Clippers come into this one following a loss to the Grizzlies.
Yeah, they allowed far too many open looks in that game, guys.
Can't disagree with you there, Steve. I mean, that's exactly what did them in. They didn't apply nearly enough pressure on their shooters.
Past the Splitter. To halt the run, DeAndre Jordan grabs the miss. Jordan's got his 5th rebound in this one. Here's Crawford. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Yeah, the referee's all over that one.
No doubt about it. Clearly a foul. Nothing to argue about there.
And the Spurs with some changes. Tim Duncan, he's checked in for Diaw. Green comes in for Kawhi Leonard. And Tony Parker is subbed in for Gary Neal. Now here's Parker. And that one's good. Parker's got his 2nd basket of the night.
He is always so in control, guys, even when he's going hard to the hoop. Very skilled finisher.
Jordan can't get it to go.
Well, at least he had the presence of mind to change his shot when the defense got on him. You got to improvise sometimes.
Here's Duncan. Got it off in time, but it's no good. And after just 1 quarter of play, a double 6. Welcome back, folks. We'll see if we're in store for a more tightly contested quarter as we move here into the 2nd. And quite a position here for the Clippers to be in. What do you think, guys?
And I thought the key to that first quarter, guys, was the turnovers they faced with that aggressive defense.
Well, the defense, as you said, Steve, has been really aggressive, and it's paid off for them a few times already.
So with Billups on the bench, here's who's on the floor now for Vinny Del Negro. In the front court, it's Caron Butler, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan. Crawford out there with Chris Paul.
He's going to take that shot every time if he has that much room to get it off.
Well, you think about what Chris Paul meant to the Clippers, guys, not just on the floor, and that's pretty obvious. He's one of the best point guards in the league, if not the best. But it had more to do with the identity of the team. I think people took them seriously after that deal. And in fact, you know, in LA, there was a budding rivalry between the Clippers and the Lakers for, you know, who was the city's best team. And that had never been a question before.
And stolen by Butler. And it's Paul penetrating. And good on the basket. Book it. Paul's got 9.
Well, after a slow first quarter, he's starting to pick it up a bit here.
For so long, Steve, you know, it seemed that the Clippers were always the second fiddle, but with Chris Paul ending up there and not in a Laker uniform, it just changed the whole mindset, Clark, it seems, of the franchise.
And if you've had the tough breaks that the Clippers have had over the years, you know, one big moment or big player acquisition like a Chris Paul can really move your franchise in a totally different direction.